Young and the Restless. Phyllis and Sharon's kidnapper shocker. Not who you expect. Who took them? Young and the Restless fans are talking about who is really behind Phyllis Summers, Michelle Stafford, and Sharon Newman, Sharon Case's kidnapping because it may not be who you assume it is. It may be a really big twist. There are some big red flags waving that somebody you wouldn't expect is tormenting Red and Sharon, and this could be a really bizarre pivot in the storyline. So despite the horror movie feel to where the kidnapper has stuck them, really Phyllis and Sharon haven't suffered that much while in captivity. Now that could be because the villain is trying to build up their fear and anxiety before they do something really bad to the ladies, or this lack of actual torment could be a sign that the kidnapper has no ill intent, which sounds bizarre, right? I mean, why would you kidnap somebody? And it's all down to who took them, and I think there are 5 very distinct possibilities. One of them is super duper exciting. Let's dive in. Young and the Restless. Is Ian Ward behind Phyllis and Sharon's abduction? So, obviously behind that speaker that they keep hearing voice from, and door number 1 there's Ian Ward. Sharon, Phyllis, Victor Newman, Eric Braden, Nick Newman, Joshua Morrow, everybody else, they all think crazy Ian is pushing up daisies, but he's very much alive. Y&R said that Ray Wise wrapped his run, but you never know, they might have one last hurrah before he truly exits. Ian does have a huge grudge against these ladies, but I wouldn't even say huge, I would say a grudge, but his really huge grudge is against the Newmans, so we can't rule him out. Him taking Phyllis and Sharon seems a likely outcome since he was just shot and then resurrected in the ambulance, but to me, it's also the most boring option for this scenario. One fan posted on Twitter, if it's not Ian or his followers, this is stupid, so they think that that's really the only choice. So if it is him, it may be Ian's plan to make them kill each other, but really Sharon and Phyllis aren't the two that are the primary focus of his grudge. So, it being Ian is problematic. However, that doesn't mean that it's not Ian. It just means if it is him, I don't think it's the best written plot. If taking Sharon and Red as his big finale on Young and the Restless, I don't see why, but he is a very obvious option. Could Nick Newman be the mastermind behind the Sharon and Phyllis escape room? Alright, next, there's a pile of fans on soap social media that suggested the wild theory that it could be Nick Newman who put them there, but wasn't trying to hurt them. After this fan theory kinda got passed around, then on Tuesday's episode, I think it was Phyllis, she's actually going to mention that maybe it's Nick trying to make them get along. One Y&R fan tweeted, as crazy as it sounds, I think Nick has something to do with the Sharon-Phyllis escape room escapade, but why would he do it? I mean, maybe to shut them up with their sniping and the rivalry once and for all. I think Nick would love to see a truce so he's not stuck always mediating and being pressured to take sides. Phyllis and Sharon's endless tug of war over Nick might be something he is just really tired of, and maybe he has snapped. If you think, oh, Nick would never do something as cruel as drugging 2 of his exes, well, you need to think again. Yes, it seems extreme, the idea of taking Phyllis, taking Sharon, locking them in a defunct psych hospital. However, if you remember, Nick at one point was traipsing around Genoa City in that J.T. Hellstrom, Thad Luckenbill mask, and he tormented Victor, Nikki Newman, Melody Thomas Scott, Sharon, and his own sister Victoria Newman, Amelia Heinley, so he's capable of it. But I will say, I don't think it's Nick because he seems legitimately concerned about their whereabouts, and his reactions and the questions he's asking don't scream a guilty guy who knows where they are. Crazy Patty Williams. A dark horse suspect in the Young and the Restless kidnapping mystery. Alright, next, someone who definitely has a bone to pick with Phyllis and Sharon and may want to punish them and is crazy enough to do it is Patty Williams. Do you guys remember her, Paul Williams, Doug Davidson, sister? She has been in quite a few mental hospitals, so she might have spent some time at the Havenhurst facility at one point. I mean, she's called Crazy Patty for a reason. One fan on Twitter said, I'm thinking it's Patty messing with Sharon and Phyllis, and they said first thing that came to mind. Now if you know your Y&R history, Patty dislikes Phyllis because she was with Jack Abbott, Peter Bergman, who was an object of Patty's unstable obsession for many years. She even tried to give Summer Newman, Allison Lanier, a deadly allergic reaction at one point while she was plotting against Phyllis. Patty also threatened Sharon for keeping little Christian Newman, Alex Wilson, from his parents, Nick and Sage Newman, Kelly Sullivan. And when Sharon didn't come clean, Patty told Nick the truth, so she doesn't like Sharon either. But it's more than that. Patty at one point was really close to Ian. She saved his life when he was caught between a burning timber pillar wall support when he set fire to the Newman Tower that Halloween when he was dressed up in that devil costume, and Patty saved him, and she had become mildly infatuated with him. But Ian wanted her safely out of the way and told her she was not meant for a life of revenge. You know, maybe Ian has called her, and Patty ran to his side and is helping him or tormenting them on his behalf. I will say that Stacey Hayduke, who played Patty, is busy filming at Days of Our Lives, so she probably doesn't have time to make a return to Y&R, so if it is Patty, it would likely be a recast. I think it's a long shot, but there are all the pieces of the puzzle around her. Shocking twist. Could Drusilla Winters return from the dead for revenge on Young and the Restless? So fourth on my list, here's somebody I think it would be fabulous as their tormentor and completely shocking and just jaw-dropping because the person messing with Phyllis and Sharon is somebody who knows about their tangled, messy history in great detail, and the person I'm about to suggest definitely fits the bill, and she has a huge grudge against Phyllis and Sharon, a life-or-death kind of grudge. I'm talking about Drusilla Winters. It has been quite a while since we had Victoria Rowell on Y&R after they killed her off, although she did visit the set on the 50th anniversary a couple years ago. In case you don't remember why Drusilla might want to punish Phyllis and Sharon, look back to 2007. Drusilla, Sharon, and Phyllis were near the edge of a cliff doing a remote photo shoot. Sharon and Phyllis started one of their many brawls, and Drusilla tried to stop them, and she wound up falling to her apparent death in the river below. Her body was never found. Genoa City never has seen its share of chaos, but nothing like this. Two of the show's fiercest women, Phyllis Summers and Sharon Newman, suddenly vanish without a trace. It's the kind of twist that leaves everyone gasping, searching for answers, and questioning just who in town could pull off such a bold move. As the clock ticks and suspicions swirl, the shocking truth about their kidnapper will stun even the most loyal Young and the Restless fans. The Vanishing Act. It all begins on what seems like an ordinary day. Sharon is at Crimson Lights, preparing for a charity event, her usual calm demeanor hiding the inner storm that's been brewing since her unsettling dreams began. Phyllis, meanwhile, is in her usual whirlwind mode. Scheming, meddling, and trying to repair her reputation after yet another scandal involving Victor Newman's latest AI business venture. But then, both women disappear. Separately, mysteriously, and without a single clue left behind. When Sharon doesn't open her coffee shop the next morning, Mariah and Faith immediately sense something's wrong. Her phone is off, her car is still parked nearby, and all the security cameras mysteriously went dark at 11:43 p.m. the night before. Meanwhile, Daniel and Summer panic when they can't reach Phyllis. Her apartment is empty, her purse still on the table, and her laptop, usually glued to her hands, is gone. It doesn't take long for word to spread across Genoa City. The women everyone either loves or loves to hate have simply vanished. A city in chaos. Nick Newman is the first to connect the dots. He storms into the police station demanding answers. Chance Chancellor, now back as a detective full-time, is already on the case. But even he admits something about the disappearances feels too clean. No forced entry, no struggle, no ransom note, Chance says grimly. Whoever took them knew exactly what they were doing. That statement sends chills down Nick's spine. Someone organized. Someone smart. Someone close. Nicky fears Victor could somehow be tied to it, not directly, but through one of his secretive business deals. She confronts him, demanding to know what he's hiding, but Victor insists he's just as in the dark as everyone else. Yet his eyes flicker with that telltale glint that says otherwise. Jack Abbott, on the other hand, takes a more personal route. He believes Phyllis may have gotten tangled up with the wrong people again. Maybe remnants of her fake death scheme are coming back to haunt her. He vows to find her, but deep down, he fears this time she's in over her head for good. Clues in the shadows. A week passes, and Genoa City's nerves are frayed. Then, a break. Faith discovers Sharon's bracelet near an old warehouse on the edge of town. Chance, Nick, and Jack rush to the scene. Inside, they find signs that someone's been living there. A coffee mug, a broken cell phone, and a single strand of fiery red hair caught in the hinge of a metal door. Phyllis's hair. The two women are connected. But why? As Chance digs deeper, he uncovers encrypted messages exchanged between Phyllis's laptop and a mysterious sender just days before she disappeared. The messages reference unfinished business, control, and retribution. At first, it sounds like another one of Phyllis's digital feuds. But when Sharon's name appears in the final message, the tone turns chilling. They both need to understand what happens when people play God. A familiar face returns. When the kidnapper is finally revealed, no one in Genoa City could have predicted it. The mastermind is Cameron Kirsten's long-lost sister, Claire Kirsten, a woman who's been quietly watching Sharon for years, plotting revenge. After Cameron's death, she disappeared, presumed to have left the country. But she's been right under everyone's nose, working under a new alias at one of Victor's subsidiaries, gathering information and waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Phyllis became collateral damage when she stumbled upon Claire's secret while digging into Victor's new AI project. Claire realized Phyllis knew too much, and worse, that she might expose her before she could carry out her revenge. So Claire struck first, abducting both Sharon and Phyllis on the same night. Sharon out of vengeance, Phyllis out of necessity. Inside the kidnapper's lair. In a chilling scene that rivals any Y&R suspense arc, the two women wake up in a dimly lit room. Concrete walls, flickering light, and a single camera watching them. Sharon's calm reasoning clashes with Phyllis's fiery defiance. "This is your fault," Phyllis snaps. "Whoever's doing this wants you." Sharon retorts, "And if you'd stayed out of Victor's files, maybe we wouldn't be here." Their clashing personalities make the tension almost unbearable. But as days turn into nights, something shifts. They begin to rely on each other, trading barbs for strategies, insults for insight. Sharon uses her psychology background to try to understand their captor's motives, while Phyllis hacks into the old surveillance system with pieces of broken tech. Together, they uncover Claire's identity. And when Claire appears, composed, cold and eerily calm, she makes her intentions clear.